Today I want to talk to you guys about sort of a follow-up to the video I did that was an energy assessment of the greenhouses. So we're well into winter now and I'm learning more every week about what's possible. And because we've had such a cold winter, I want to just do another analysis of things that I've observed this year. And it looks like next winter is going to be the same. We're sort of this trend of cold winters right now. If you guys don't read the Farmer's Almanac, I would highly recommend it. As long as I've been farming, the Farmer's Almanac has been dead on with predicting weather trends. And it looks like next winter is going to be the same, but minus 15 Celsius out today, very cold. And I want to just give you an assessment on what's happening in my two greenhouses. So in this is our lettuce greenhouse. We've been producing in here all winter so far. And right now, as of about a week or so ago, I've turned off the heat in this greenhouse. And the reason I've done that is that I'm no longer getting my return on investment, in the sense that I've harvested all my lettuce and the energy I'm putting into it right now is more than the return I'm getting, only because it's taking too long to get the second cut of this lettuce. So when the lettuce was in here and I was heating it, it was costing about $600 a month when it was really cold. And the return I was getting on the harvest of the lettuce was well worth it, because we're getting about 40 pounds of lettuce per 50-foot bed. And you know, we could sell that at around $8 to $10 a pound, depending on where it was going. So, you know, at $10 a pound, that's $400 per bed, times 4. Pretty good net return. You know, even if I can get that much per week, it was well worth it. But right now it's not. And so the thing that I've learned this year is that during your winter growing, at least in my climate, and this is so climate specific, I'm in a zone 6B, and we get a lot of cloud in the winter. We don't get a lot of sunlight. So the challenge we have is we've got low light conditions because of the day lengths, because, you know, at our latitude on the planet, we get short days, but because of the clouds as well, it makes it that growing almost stops and we don't get the regrowth. You know, in the summertime, you can cut a bed of lettuce and it'll be back in 7 to 10 days. Not in the winter. Right now, just to show you, this bed here, which is probably, I would say 60%, 65% ready to harvest, this was cut 2 months ago. So at current temperatures, that would mean that I'd probably 2.5 to 3 months away to get a second cut off a bed. So this is the challenge. And I'm already, you know, during the winter, I'm reflecting and I'm planning my crops for the next year. I'm already basically just planning my winter, because summer production for us is simple. We pretty much, once we're into mid-May, I'm planting radishes, turnips, lettuce, arugula, various types of greens every single week. So there's not really much to plan. It's really easy. But the winter is where it gets complicated, because all of your regrowth and days to maturities perpetually get longer because the days get perpetually shorter. So what it's looking like this year, or 2017 year, is what we will do is we'll do this exact same thing next year, but we're going to have caterpillar tunnels in the field, and we're going to put thermal blankets over the beds in those greenhouses. So the caterpillar tunnels, if you haven't seen them, check out the video up here. That is the Jonathan Dysoner and the guys Farmer's Friend building one. I'm going to be employing some of those in 2017 because my low tunnels haven't been working very well because of the snow. So what we're going to do next year is have 300 feet of caterpillar tunnels. Because my beds are 50 feet on average, it'll be 6 50-foot caterpillar tunnels around my various plots. Those will be established with lettuce by late summer, early fall, and we're going to push those as far as we can into the winter. Meanwhile, this greenhouse probably won't be planted out until maybe early October, and I won't even need to turn the heat on it until mid-November. And then this lettuce will be growing to the point where it will just sit there and be mature, but the heat will keep it alive. So the plan is to run those 6 caterpillar tunnels as far as I can into maybe even December, and then those will be harvested out, and then they're finished. We won't get a second cut off those because it'll be too cold and it just won't work because they're not heated. But then this one will push us. So with this, we can harvest one bed a week. So the idea here is that I can go push us to December, and then from there I'll have 8 weeks of lettuce mixed with our shoot production in the other nursery, and I'll go in there and talk about that in a minute. But then we can get eight weeks out of here. So if I can go December and January and push us to February, there's a chance, I'm hoping, that by February we'll get a second cut of these beds. If not, by February we'll be able to start preparing the caterpillar tunnels as well to plant early spring, late winter crops, which is what I've done for many years. When I said $600 a month, I was a bit incorrect, because $600 a month is what I'm paying to run my nursery and that greenhouse. So it's most likely that that greenhouse is using more heat because it's just not as efficient as this greenhouse. It doesn't have as much insulation. And so, you know, let's just say it's half, just for the sake of discussion, $300 a month to heat that. So there may be a smidgen of a case to be made that it could be worth the regrowth, though I'm not so sure. Either way, this greenhouse, there's no doubt that this is economical to run. Like no doubt at all. We're almost at full capacity right now. We've got almost 130 flats in production right now. We've got a couple big microgreen orders coming up in the next couple weeks, and so we've got production going on the bottom shelf. This shelf, which has has a total of 26, or can hold 26 flats. This shelf here, just got a few short there, and then we're up top as well. So this greenhouse is in really, really good production. Right now, with the way we have this set up, I would be able to produce 130 flats a week, because the microgreens really only need a week uncovered to get to maturity. And if you really want to push that, you can stack them, germinate them longer, or have a different place to germinate them. Like I germinate them on our shelves here, and that's why they're stacked. People keep asking me, but I get tired of answering the same question. Why do we stack our microgreens with the flats? It's because it germinates them, and then we uncover them, and then they grow. So these ones here were uncovered earlier this week, and then these ones up here I just uncovered. But if you just do the math here, you can just see how profitable microgreens can be if you verticalize your space. So at 130 flats a week, at an average of $20 a flat of gross profit, there's about $2 a cost in there, just for the math. 130 times 20 is $2,600. So the potential is to produce $2,600 a week, and that's not even maxed out. Like the reason I've got this piece of wood here is I've had these I can put these other shelves on this side, so I can add another about 50 flats of production on the front of my greenhouse as well. And if I really wanted to stack it up further, I could put more shelving back here on this wall. The beautiful thing about microgreens is they don't need direct light to grow. They do just fine in ambient light. Having said all that, all of these are getting direct light right now. As the sun recesses further into the sky around the winter solstice, the sun reaches in here, and it gets light to all of these microgreens, down below, up top, you name it. And that's partly why I've stacked. You can see that I've staggered my shelves a little bit. This one on the very top is a bit further back. These are sort of a staircase, and then down below it's flush with this one here. So the economics of this greenhouse are really a no-brainer. It doesn't cost a lot to run because it's so efficient, and because of the climate battery system we have on this greenhouse, where we've been pumping heat underground with our little, it's not a heat pump, I think I said that in a previous video, I was incorrect. It's just a fan that pumps air underground with perforated big O pipes that grid the entire underneath the foundation, and that heat's stored. So because of that whole system, it's a pretty efficient greenhouse. Like even if I were to turn the heat off in here, it would stay above freezing, even if it was minus 15 degrees outside. But I want to keep it warmer in here, so that's why I run the heater. You know, the optimal temperature for this kind of production is to keep it at between 18 and 20 degrees Celsius for all of these microgreens. That is around 65 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's my optimal temperature. Of course, a little bit warmer isn't so bad, and a little bit cooler in the night isn't so bad either. But that's kind of what we're looking at. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys today. I mean, production in these greenhouses is going very well, but the lettuce greenhouse was a learning experience. We're definitely going to do it again next year, but just approach our planting dates. And you know, the way you approach winter planting is very different than you do in the summer, because in the summer I'm just going to plant crops every week, but in the winter time you have to think about it differently because your days are progressively getting shorter and your temperatures are getting colder. So in the winter it's more about just large groups of planting in really wide intervals, and how that'll look next year will be a really late summer or early fall planting, probably around mid-September in these caterpillar tunnels, to get all those greens established going into the winter. And then once it gets cold, once we're into mid-November, those greens, they're not growing anymore. They're just going to sit there dormant. We're going to cover them with a rime fabric at nighttime, open it up during the day. They're just going to sit there, and then we'll have another planting that will probably go in that heated greenhouse by early to mid-October. I have to look at my sheets to really find those dates, but that's kind of what it looks like. It's 2 big plantings, and then that will ride us out into the winter. So that is really how it all breaks down. I've got 3 workshops coming up on my farm. I just want to give you guys a reminder. Tickets are on sale now. I've got 18 spots per workshop. I've already been selling them, so they're going. Early bird tickets are up now. So if you want to come to Kelowna, British Columbia and spend 5 days with me on the farm, tickets are there. I've got a discount for anybody who's in my online course, gets a considerable size discount. And then there's also a premium ticket, so if any of you guys want to take my online course and come to my farm workshop here, you're going to get a pretty considerable discount there. So those are up now at theurbanfarmer.co. Just go to the store and it's all there. Okay, talk to you later.